The word IoTA has two distinct meanings. As a noun, 1, a tiny or scarcely detectable amount. 2, the ninth letter of the Greek alphabet.
Welcome to IoTA for Tuesday, September 6, 2016. I'm Tony Lynn. IoTA is a daily news podcast focused on the Internet of Things industry and Atlanta when given an opportunity. Some of you may have noticed that this is my second attempt at this today. We had some difficulties to begin with, but here we are. So let's get started. All right, LG expands into robots using IoT. LG Electronics will expand its business to artificially intelligent robots to prop up its connected home devices, says Cho Sung-jin, CEO of its home appliance unit, this last Friday. Speaking to reporters at the IFA Consumer Electronics Show in Berlin, he classified robots into three categories. Social robots, designed to hang out in your house like Jibo, the first of its kind in the world. Robots that take care of humans in need, such as senior adults, and those that replace human in traditional roles at business operations and capacities, such as guides at airports. We're in the middle of figuring out how to link all of those robots and uses for our businesses, he said. Since human care robots are closely related to smart home appliances, home appliance unit at LG Electronics is preparing for the future of business. 2003 is when LG first became that launched their robot vacuum cleaner, and then they've done a lot since then. Don't usually hear a lot about robots talked about in the context of IoT, although it is connected. We just don't hear a lot about it. Robots are kind of seen as the thing that's either too big or too rich for most people to employ or to enjoy, but the fact of it is a lot of robots are in manufacturing already. Tying these systems into other, smart systems, I think it would be a really, really cool thing. So it'd be fun to watch LG as they move forward from this. All right, Brian Holock in TechTarget reports that the Dropbox hack and password security conundrum. The Dropbox hack is the latest reminder that the end is near for traditional authentication methods. Okay, so this week we discovered that 68 million user email addresses and passwords were compromised in a hack that took place in 2012, significantly worse than originally reported at the time. The credentials have started leaking online. What's interesting about this hack is that it highlights how long stolen credentials can lie dormant in the dark web and then rear their ugly heads far into the future, often still valid, says Stephen Cox, Chief Security Architect at SecureAuth, an authentication platform. Dropbox has stated that most passwords were encrypted with a strong cipher, but others were not. The cloud storage company sent out notices last week to all users who had not changed their password since 2012. The original Dropbox hack was the result of a Dropbox employee using the same password for both his LinkedIn and corporate Dropbox accounts. The LinkedIn breach, also in 2012, revealed the passwords and allowed hackers to enter Dropbox's network and gain access to a database with encrypted passwords. The incident raises questions about the effectiveness of traditional password security measures and enterprise security culture. All right, so security, and this is the story about traditional. Oh, hold on one second. Olive says hi. Anyway, so the traditional security issues that exist are definitely going to be part of what's going forward with IoT. So the fact that the old school is having to change, I think bodes well for the new school as well. Anyway, we'll monitor this as we go forward. All right, WorldPay announces a hackathon for the Internet of Things, reports Mike Daltner in Payment Week. So this is a fintech story, but it's very centered around IoT. Before we get started with this, I've seen a lot, particularly here in Atlanta, there's a lot of fintech companies that are very, very interested in IoT. And I've actually said it once before on the podcast, I was a little confused by this, that it doesn't really seem to match what they do. So I'm missing something, and I can't wait to figure out what it is I'm missing. But so coming to London, so now you're gonna have to hop on a plane and fly to London in order to take place in the hackathon. But if you're a hacker and you like IoT, it might be a good thing to do. WorldPay's hosted hackathon designed to test security measures through a case of competitive hacking trials. WorldPay has teamed up with Consult Hyperion, MongoDB, and Visa Europe to put on the event, which will be held at the Impact Hub Westminster starting September 23rd and ending on the 25th. Throughout the 48-hour event, the two main themes of the smart city and an interconnected home will attempt to encompass various forms of innovation in accordance with the full integration of payments. And the stakes are £5,000 for the victor. And I don't really know what that is these days, probably like $20 after the Brexit. Anyway, this is something that's really cool, and you'll see more of these coming up over time. I reported on this mainly because it is in fintech, and it is something that they're really trying to push a little bit. All right, in our final story of the day, in IoT evolution, Ken Braildug reports that Verizon CFO Fran Chamo is to retire. He writes, for every executive, there comes a time to hang up the hat. For Verizon CFO Francis Chamo, that time is soon. According to an announcement, the 27-year veteran of the company will say a much-deserved farewell at the end of the year. Prior to the formal retirement, he will step down as EVP and CFO on November 1st. Verizon's board of directors has appointed Matthew Ellis as Chamo's successor. He's currently SVP and CFO of Operations Finance, responsible for providing financial support to Verizon's wireless and wireline business units. Let's see, is there anything interesting here? The interesting thing here is that we reported earlier where there's been some shakeups in Verizon and Cisco specifically, where they've retired or they've cut their staffing in order to become a little bit more IoT friendly. And I wonder if this one has something to do with it. In fact, it showed up in my IoT watch. So I can only assume that the fact that this CFO is stepping down and a new one stepping in is a direct correlation to their need to become more IoT friendly. I don't really know what this means just yet. Again, we'll continue to watch it. All right, guys, that was it. Even after the holidays, it was a kind of a thin weekend. I guess everybody actually took the weekend off. We'll get more as we go. But as always, if you like what you're seeing here and you want to become part of the show, feel free to send me any feedback at tonemach@gmail.com. You can find me on Twitter at Tonemach and any of my fun projects at www.tonemach.com. If you do enjoy the show and you want to donate and make the show better, go to patreon.com/Tonemach. See, there's a theme here. Otherwise, we'll continue the show. We're having a blast. And as always, see you tomorrow.